Hello, welcome to episode 3 of Dust Wardens. My name is Sydney. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the latest person to exist in RPGs. I'm an hour late to my own game. It's fantastic. I am GMing this thing. I think director is the name that's given to it or something like that. I'm doing that thing, and it's going to be fantastic. And if I were a Power Ranger, I would probably be the yellow Power Ranger because in the dinosaur one, she got to be a Sabretooth, and that was pretty dope. I would like to introduce you to 4 wonderful people that are with us again. V, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is V. I use she, her pronouns, and today I am the giantest, headphone tiniest head of the RPG community. I am playing Rico in this game, and if I and possibly Rico were a Power Ranger, I think we would be the white one because that was just my personal favorite. And anything with an evolution is my jam.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you. Tyler, who are you? What's your jam?
I'm Tyler, he, him pronouns, and I'm playing True, who is kind of a older lady and the toughie of the group, but is, for the first time, we're kind of seeing her slowing down and actually being a little old. And if I were, unfortunately, I'm too old to have ever watched the Power Rangers, but if I was one of the Lion Voltrons, I would be the kid.
It's such a rule breaker. I love it. I love it. Haley, please tell me everything about you. Oh, Haley, you're not coming through. Oh no, I think you might be hardware muted.
Yes, my hardware was plotting against me. My name is Haley. My pronouns are she, them, and I am playing Patty Smith, who is also an older individual who looks far better and less practical than she has any right to be in a post-apocalyptic setting. Even the grey hair looks good on her, I'm going to say. And if I was a Power Ranger, well, you have good timing because I just finished the BuzzFeed Which Power Ranger Are You quiz, and apparently I am the blue Power Ranger. I don't know what the significance of this is.
Oh, you are so a blue Power Ranger. I don't know. I don't think it matters, but I love it. I love that it has impact. Ellen, I know so much about you, but I would love to know more, please.
Hi, my name's Ellen, she, her. My character is Shaizi. She is a Shimera. I said it again. I read it like it sounds. What? Chimera. And I was always too cynical for Power Rangers, so I'd say that Shaizi is probably more closely to one of the giant villains, the like monsters that come together, kind of like Godzilla-like.
Yeah. The kaiju of our story. Oh, I love it. I'm so very excited. Some things we spoke about at the end of our last session was that some people were going to be, or some people had fulfilled some vows and were going to be getting rid of them, and some people were maybe looking to write new ones. Did anyone have a thing that they like, a new vow, kind of an idea in their head of something they wanted to change an existing vow? And it's not for those who have like just completed one. You don't need to have a new one straight away. That can sort of come up through play. But I sort of wanted to see if Ella, I know you're specifically looking at changing one of yours.
Yeah, I specifically mentioned that at the end of last game, but until just before this game, I had not thought of it. No. So I think we talked about potential of coming up with a vow in play. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to give that a crack.
Great. In that case, if no one else has an input here, cool. I just want to leave space. Then let's effing play. Everyone roll initiative. So our current state of the game, for those of you who are going along is that we've just shuffled a bunch of cards back in. We've got all 4 aces out. Everyone's in a really good position. It's very exciting. So what I want to see now is, I think we wanted to like jump ahead. I think I want like a big time skip here, and I want to see a bit of a credits scene, I guess. But the content will be like a vignette of something you've done over the. What's an interesting length of time to people? I'm thinking like years, right? I'm thinking like somewhere between sort of 2 and 6 years, like a really big length of time, and that can have us cross a lot of geography as well if we want to. Does that work for everyone? Cool. So let's see from y'all a vignette of your character, of what you've done, something you've done over the last 6 years. And the specific question I want to ask is, show me how you have changed. So it's almost like, I guess, we've seen heaps of your character in that present time. And so I want to see that vignette in the middle. And then I want to see where you are and how that's changed. I don't think I want to see where you are now, though. I think I want that to come up after the credits thing. So how does that sound? Yeah. All right. Let's hit this. So let's kind of let's go right to left on our Google sheet. So V, if you don't mind starting again.
Yeah, I think you probably see sort of like, where we left off last time. The hangar is like sort of disused, and there's like graffiti all over it. And it's clear that no one's been there for a really, really long time. Everything's been stripped that was of value, and there's dust everywhere. Just like a thick layer of dust. And you see like a heavy boot hit that dust, and a little cloud comes up. And you see the rest of Rico. She's standing there. Her hair's grown out, so she's hasn't cut it, and it's like really long now. And I think as she takes off her helmet, she's like putting it up into a bun, and you can see that it's dyed like a blonde color. And she sort of like quietly checks for where, the photos of her parents, where that shrine was. I don't think there's anything there, but she like touches a discoloration on the wall where like a picture used to hang.
That's really cool.
Yeah. She's out of her awkward puberty stage and in the really hot stage of your 20s.
Or as I call it now, she's manifesting. I'm so excited. Tyler, this is almost the same order as we did the intros. I did not mean to do that. Tyler, do you want to give us True's scene?
Yeah.
And just Tyler, I know you need some extra encouragement in this. If just be a bit self-indulgent, like it'd be. I know it's out of character for you, but
I'll have to really push now. I think we see. True and Shaizi, and Shaizi probably in a bit, in her more lion type form, and we're tussling, like just play wrestling. And I think you get the impression this is something we do fairly regularly, just kind of play for us. And as we're wrestling around, Shaizi just gets me pinned down. And as we stop, and we're kind of laughing, we see True stand up as Shaizi moves away, and you could see this kind of pained look on True's face as she kind of stretches her back a bit. And as she's moving away, you can definitely see that the stiffness and the slowness as she's moving away. But as Shaizi looks back, she straightens up and struts back over like nothing's happened at all.
Oh, that's so good. I love it. I love it. Elle, what do we see of Shazi?
So this is actually following on from Tyler's bit. A little bit later on, Shazi is mostly human, except she's got her lioness ears on, and probably like a bit of a liony beard as well. And she's just eating like a big cured leg of ham or something like that. Like, it's probably a bit indulgent, but she's just like eating it with no restraint. And True walks in the room, and maybe True's got a bit of a limp, and without lifting her face too far away from the food, she looks up at True wide-eyed and like stares directly at like where True seems to be injured, and then like looks at True's eyes and then back at the injury, and then keeps eating.
Oh, that's so good. So good. I love the giant thing of ham. It's my fave. Patty Smith. I'm so excited about this one.
I think we get like the shot, like the big overhead shot of this giant desert, and then like in the middle of this desert, there's just this jungle that has appeared for no reason. It's also quite large. And then like on a motorbike speeding through this jungle with like the aviator goggles on is like Patty Smith. And I think it's like very gratuitous of like, again, with the like riding up things and like cutting through, like tearing through the vines and the bits of foliage. And like, I think she bursts forth through some overhanging trees into this clearing. And in the middle of this clearing is just like one red flower growing by itself. And she like steps off her motorbike and like pulls up the aviator goggles. And you can see that under the goggles, she's wearing glasses. And she strides towards the flower, and then like has to pull the glasses like closer to her eyes as she peers down to take a look at it. And then she takes like a big sort of like breath in of the wafting perfume of the flower. And I think like the last thing we see in the credit scene is her hand reaching towards the flower, and there's a new ring on her hand that wasn't there before.
Oh my God. Okay, that's my favorite. I'm actually going to launch right off this now. Haley, at the moment, Patty Smith has an injury called her Harry's worms, maybe. I think we resolved that at the end of last session. Cool. So what I'm going to get you to do is remove that injury, and instead I'm going to give you another injury that's going to affect you throughout this scene for now. And this is, I'm like doing some pretty hard move directorial control here because I have a vision, and I hope that you all trust me enough. I'm giving you the injury alone. And this is that scene. Your hand reaches out towards the blood red flower in the middle, and I really want to highlight like the color of this flower matches your lipstick like exactly. And as your hand reaches out to it, around your wrist you are snatched by a vine with like this really strong we probably see it like where it grabs you, your arm goes pale white, and like your hand distal to that point goes like almost like a purple immediately as it like cuts off the blood to your arm. And we see tracking back along the vine in this like quick speedy shot at great distance a like like a shambling mound of moss and flowers. It's growing and sprouting with flowers of 1,000 different colors. And underneath all of them is this deep, rich foresty green, and it takes like a big lumbering step towards you, pulling you toward it with the vine. What do you do?
Patty takes a moment to savor the sumptuousness of the colorful flowers on this shambling creature.
Okay. Do you want to do the savor move, which
Yes.
which I'm just going to add that to the moves for my game that I'm writing? Thank you.
And then I think she will narrow her eyes and take stock of the situation.
Okay, excellent. When you savor these flowers, I guess what does this mean to you? What does this mean to Patty, to all this color? And like you said that you savor that. I want to interrogate that a little bit more as we hit this move about like why is this color important to you?
Yeah, the landscape of the surroundings outside the jungle, but also like the landscape of her life is so faded and brown and dark and the same year after year. It feels like you're going forward on your motorcycle, but where are you going to? And this color reminds her of a different time when she was surrounded by people and laughter and life. I think specifically it reminds her of like the settlement like celebration at the place she lived before she could no longer stay there.
Oh man, we got to do more of that later. That's so good. I want to know everything about that. But first, please, could you draw with? There are rules for moves. Draw with not guts. With guile, as you take stock of your surroundings, a person or situation.
Let's see if I get tokens. Cards. I got a queen.
Excellent. Oh, by the way, because you have the alone thing, I'm also going to discard a card because your injury affects you, which I think is kind of manifesting this people are power, aloneness is disempowerment thing. So that goes over there. But you got a queen on a face card. You ask 3 questions. And if you would like to go outside those questions, you're more than welcome to. But if you can make them work, please do.
Yeah. This is a pretty straightforward, like, person-facing danger situation.
It is.
If you want to cut at any point during this to other things, please feel free. But I think I will start with what here has most recently been exposed to magic.
Oh, interesting. That's really interesting. There are so many interesting answers and so many boring answers. I don't know which one to think of. Okay, here I will ponder that while I ask another question and get an answer from someone else. Shizy, do you have this nightmare a lot that with Patty Smith in trouble? Or is this the first time?
They're getting less. All the time. I think when I first met her, I had a little scary night. But then as we were working together more, it increased. But I've been finding that lately I don't remember my dreams at all.
Oh, interesting. I think what has most recently been exposed to magic is the beast itself. I think you see When it looks at you, its eyes are both as red as the blood flower itself. The petals are a different shape. They're not blood flowers, but you can see them sparkle with the same magic, showing you that the magic of the blood flower, the presence of it, is what has most recently exposed this thing. Do you have another question?
Yeah. What is about to happen?
True. What does Shizy look like when she has these nightmares?
I think that she begins tossing, and we can, and you can hear like her mumbling as it's happening. But I think that her body morphs as though it's almost like outside of control, or you'll see that hand turn to paw and back again. We'll see. And sometimes in those morphs, it's something other than the lion. There's something else there.
Oh my god. Oh, that's tasty. Okay. I'm very excited about this. What is about to happen? Your arm is like pulled away from your body as it like reels in this vine with superhuman magical strength, and somewhere beneath those two red flowery eyes, the vines part, and it's like an opening maw in the middle of it, and little vines come out around it like 1,000 tongues, like lapping at the air, and it's probably even reminiscent of those worms that like the two heads pulling in either direction. Do you have another question? Oh, sorry. In case it wasn't clear, you're gonna be eaten.
Thank you. Yeah. What is my best approach to calm this creature?
Oh, interesting. To calm this creature. Rico, when you see Shizy morphing into this thing that isn't quite the lion, you've seen that beast before, or you've seen what it is before. Can you tell us what it is, and perhaps even how you encountered it?
I think so Rico's actually like peering in from an outside window, I think. Like she's on like the floating bike outside the window and watches the like sort of transformation. And I think it turns into Shizy like a scaled reptilian kind of texture. And you know, in the montagey thing, there's like this flashback, and it you can see like, you know, the book that Shizy has, the ancient text. It like flips over, and last 3 pages are actually like ripped out of that book. And I think you get this like Rico pulling out the 3 missing pages from her back pocket and looks down at it, at this like reptilian creature, which I will let Ellen describe in full later. And
yeah.
She breathed out. I knew I'd found it when I saw these. I'm glad I got here in time.
Oh, that's legit. Patty Smith, in order to calm this thing, it is made manifest by the magic of the blood flower. You would have to either destroy or otherwise harness the magic of the blood flower itself. It steps towards you, and we see it as it steps. It's like the world shakes and comes apart a little bit, like the edges of the universe crack, and we see like the scales manifest across Shizy as it takes another big lumbering step. What do you do, Patty Smith?
I try to eat the blood flower.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Far out. There is no eat a blood flower. I love it. Okay. So
Using magic.
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask you is like, what is eating the blood flower to you?
It's my essence, because this is a dream, so I'm just going to go full self-indulgence.
Yes,
it's like the Patty Smith, it's the essence, it's the spiritual astral body of Patty Smith emerges from her physical body, and it looks like much younger. Like it's like a much younger, happier, more innocent version of her. Fresh faced, and like it just like it comes out of her mouth, I think, and like it's got grasping hands that are joyfully reaching for the blood flower to try and catch it and absorb it into her body.
I'm so lucky to play with you. Please channel some magical spells by drawing with glamour. And because you're alone, I'm going to discard a card. Ooh. That's fun. I like doing this. I like discarding cards on y'all. I wish I could do it more.
It's a 7.
It is a 7. Wonderful. On a 6 to 10, choose 2.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to sacrifice something to do this. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be like erratic or unstable.
Erratic or unstable, and you have to sacrifice something. Okay, wonderful. I think the erratic or unstable is going to keep being a part of that, like that shifting landscape of the dream, like that kind of the dream falling apart. And I think the sacrificing something. Do you have any idea? Because I kind of was thinking about passing the sacrifice onto Shizy as the cost onto Shizy as it's her dream. But I was wondering if you had thoughts otherwise, either of you. Like if Ellen, you weren't happy with that, or Haley, you weren't. You had something in mind.
Smash it!
Okay, wonderful. I don't know what that means, but I love it.
I don't either. But yeah, no, I like the idea of that being passed on, but I'm quite happy to also think of a sacrifice if that doesn't work with Elle.
Okay.
I'm happy to take whatever you throw at me.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
What I did.
What I was going to ask you is how does the nightmare change you when you wake? Because this is what I think. So, as you like eat the blood flower, and as it falls into your mouth, and as we see the more of this vine thing like collapse on itself, and your mouth closes and its mouth closes, and at the same time, like our shot smash cuts to black, and the dream collapses, and we. And that's when Shizy awakes from the dream. And my question was then going to be, what has this dream cost you?
It is so as we see Patty Smith eating the flower, being eaten by the creature, we start to realize that this battle is in a dream, and so it cuts from like this eating to a tiny little gecko that's hiding behind a tree. And like the little gecko's little eyes are like popping out of its head. It's like clung to the tree. It's like, but there's like the eyes are like the regular gecko shape, but they're the color. They're like that really dark brown color that of Shizy's eyes, and they have the lion slits down the center of them. And you see Shai then just like immediately wake up, and she's in bed and she's sweating, and she's shaking her head and like, no, and it hurts too much. It just hurts too much. And then it cuts to like later on that morning where like Shaizi's like getting a coffee or whatever you can do in the desert jungle for your morning ritual. And I think Patty's like offering her like a friendly morning, good morning, or however she would normally say a friendly good morning. And Shaizi looks at her and then doesn't respond and goes about her business and walks away.
Oh boy.
So this is feeding into my evil plans to become more heartless. Your directing has
Desire become more heartless.
Yeah. So I'm losing like the loss is of compassion. So little bit by little bit, each of the dream is draining the compassion and care.
Okay.
Ellen, can I ask if you would mind in that when we have you kind of waking up from the dream, would you mind, does it feel okay if True's there and like trying, like holding you and, you know, saying something like, you know, it's okay, it's all right? And how would you react in that case? Or would you rather not have that?
Oh, no. I was thinking that it would be good for True to be there. And I think as True comes in to be consoling, I think Shai just like shrugs her off. It's not okay. It's not going to be okay. Never going to be okay.
And True, you know, will try to hold you, and as you shove her off, it's going to be all right. I promise you. I promise you.
I'll make it all right myself.
And as you move away, you could see the like real pain and concern on True's face as you try to struggle alone.
Ellen, you're my favorite villain. I love you so much. That's the best. That's the best. And I took a bunch of cards off you for it because I love it that much. Here is the thing. Now, I'm gonna put in an injury for this because I like it. I think it probably deserves an injury. So obviously, yeah. Like, do we want to go straight for heartless, or do you want to use like cold, or what do you want for your injury? What do you think manifests correctly?
Heartless. She's probably not heartless yet. But burnt.
Oh, good. Patty Smith, you can get rid of your alone injury. That's no longer a thing. Which is great. We had a dream sequence. That was fun. So I guess I kind of want to see True what you do when you're not given the option to help. So, you know, next day, Shaizi's getting her coffee and is keeping to herself and is trying to self-manage and very obviously, if I may, Ellen, is not managing, right? Like there's this pain.
Oh no. As someone who's suffered long-term depression, I know what it's like to go, okay, no, feeling things hurts too much, I'm going to choose to not feel. And then you go, hang on a minute, That's actually depression.
Oh, now I'm sad. I love you, Ellen. You're my favorite. So True, what do you do?
True's a fairly blunt person. Subtlety has never been her exact forte. And I imagine that whether this is the best solution or not, she thinks keeping Shy active, trying to take her mind off of this, is the best thing. And while that is not helping with the underlying cause at all, that's what True thinks is the thing you do. And so she'll come over and, make no reference whatsoever to it having happened. And, just making conversation about like what we're doing, whatever it is that we're out here at the moment, or whatever the most immediate thing that's going on, and just trying to, bring in that connection, trying to make sure we're together. Yeah. Well, this, kid, I've got to get a new chain on the bike, grinding all the way through this sand, and now all the humidity, and just that stream of conversation trying to pull her out.
Oh yeah, Elle, that's you.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. Look, I see what you're trying to do, and unless my being here will actually provide any additional help, I am going to service my bike over there now. Okay?
Fine, kid. If you need anything, just yell.
Yeah, probably won't, but yeah.
I think just sort of spur of the moment as you're saying that, True leans in and kisses you on the cheek and just sort of and grumbles her way back over towards your bike.
That does, like, there's a you got her a bit. You got her. But not enough for her to, like, hug you back or anything, but enough to, like, kind of snap her out of that moment. And she goes on about her business to pretend like she's doing something to a bike, but I don't think she knows really how to look after a bike very well.
Oh, that's so good. So good. I do want to see like oh no, I rhymed myself by reading chat. Oh no. I do love the idea of this Shazi in the back working on your bike as like a backdrop to this scene, I guess. Rico. I kind of want to explore, like what you know of this thing that that Shizy kind of manifests into and out of. Is that something you'd approach another person about, or is that something that I'll interrogate you about?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that I would bring up with True, as the available. I mean, so Patty's also around, is it? Like, I feel like there's like a sort of quieter time of the afternoon when it's still and dead in the afternoon, and that's when I would approach True. And Haley, if you also wanted to be in the scene, how do you feel?
I'll leave it up to you. Like, if you feel like Rico would just approach her, I'm totes happy to see that play out because I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I almost think that the what I'm imagining is like True and Patty are like on a veranda somewhere, like in this dusty sort of place, and like Rico's leaning on on the banister, on the railing there, and she's like, I wanted to talk to you two about something, get your thoughts. I found these when I was away traveling, and I think it looked a bit familiar to you two. And I pull out the the pages that are missing from the book. Is there is this a focus roll that we can do on on an investigation on these, like the lore of these things?
Yep, exactly. That is how games work. Let's do that. I love it. When you take stock of your surroundings, a person, a situation, or 3 pages of a torn book, draw with guile.
Guile.
Guile. I was seriously just like ready to dive into roleplay between the 3 of y'all and just lap that shit up with it.
Cards 2.
That's 2.
And as you're kind of doing that, I think that I'll kind of have look at Patty and that one last night was a bad one. I thought she hadn't had him in a while. This one, something was up.
Was it this color?
I'm sorry, V, what was that?
Oh, sorry. I said when she shifted, was it like this? And it's like the picture on the parchment.
What the hell is that?
It's a winged serpent.
Ellie's stoked. You have 2 questions that you are more than, and if you have questions that aren't on the list, please feel free to ask them.
As I think Haley, Patty's the closest to the blood flower lore that I want to draw on as well. Do you want to answer one of these questions? Like, do you want to be like the source font of knowledge?
I'm happy to do some narrative lifting, but I think like Patty narrows her eyes and like pulls her glasses down over her nose to like look down at you and is like, that isn't a real thing.
You don't think it's real? The serpent?
Everybody knows it's just a legend. But I think you can read her pretty well. She wants to test you, essentially. She's trying to sound out what you think.
I mean, some say that Sky's lightning is a legend, but if you know how to exploit something, you can make it work for you. If you know how to stop something, you do it to help your friends. You do it to help your friends.
Well, I don't know anything about flying serpents, but Pat's afraid she's drifting away from us. There's something there. And when she wakes up, her eyes are so distant. It's like she didn't even recognize me at first.
Maybe I ought to have a word with her.
when I learnt of this and I asked the wardens who knew of this legend, they told me that the serpent would eat the moon. Is that true? What does it mean? What is about to happen is my question.
Oh man, what is about to happen? Oh boy. Elle, I need to ask you this question. What is it about the winged serpent that's making it come out now? Like what's its like core emotional sense? Why now? Why you? Why this thing?
Well, it's so poetically cold-blooded, isn't it?
Right. So it's cold and it's distant and it's
And it can fly away.
and it can fly away. Oh, it's freedom as well. This is beautiful. Okay.
But
So what is about to happen?
it's got a poisonous bite too.
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
So the serpent is to eat the moon, and that's a metaphor. The moon has for long periods of time meant to be a symbol of like witchy power, right? And like your sort of coven and the bonding and that sort of stuff. For the serpent to eat the moon is the dissolution of this coven. If this serpent is allowed to be created and allowed to like, I guess almost if Shizy can't fight it, and if it like becomes her primary form, sort of thing, she will leave, and your coven will dissolve. Stakes high enough for y'all?
Yes, I like it.
Do you have
Yeah.
another question or?
Yeah, I'm gonna glare at Patty because I'm sick and tired of her games. I'm like, I shove the papers like into her chest and I say, we need to stop this. Tell me how.
What makes you think it's so simple?
I never said it would be simple.
Sometimes the answers you seek. Sorry, what's going on? Yeah, I think Patty's like, sometimes the answers you seek, you can't find them in the past, in things that are written down by someone else. You have to go find them yourself. And you see her like fiddling with her new ring. And I think she like takes it off and looks at the inscription.
The camera zooms in on the inscription.
It's a crescent moon.
Oh, I love you so much. You're my favorite. You are my favorite.
Well, time to woo Shizy. No.
You promised to never fall in love with Shizy again.
I have to keep the coven together.
Oh no.
Well, the coven is stronger together, and the moon reflects the light of the sun. I suppose we should see what is best done. And I think I want to be like, what emotions do I sense in Shizy is my question. And I think like fictionally, like Rico kind of looks over at like something of Shizy's in that's visible through the window in the house. Yes, so sensing of emotion.
I think that's great for Elle.
Yeah, rather than unmuting, I uncameraed. So you look across and the the only possession of Shizy's that is of any value to her is that book. And I think, let's say you're looking at this book when you're actually doing the stalker, looking through the window while she's sleeping rather than right at this second, because the only time that it's not in her pocket is when she's asleep and it's on her bedside table. And as you look at this small pocketbook with like thick worn leather and minimal inscriptions on the binding, you sense that this book is not so special for what is inside it. It's for what it doesn't represent. Like, this is the most valuable item to Shazi. Like, she has no family. Like, her family disowned her, her community disowned her, and the last scraps of humanity that will have anything to do with her will probably all die. So from this one little book of transformation, you sense the gap of what's missing more than what you sense in the object. In a nutshell.
Wow.
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 We as a group have to come to terms with the fact that Elle is probably the best at role-playing games. We have to agree on that as a team. It's just a
the
thing.
golf.
Just a thing.
I'm going to veto that and say you're wrong, because I'm looking at the four of you going.
Oh man. So I think as we kind of have this idea of what's at stake and what is to be done about it, if no one sort of has any threads they want to chase immediately in this scene.
I would like, kind of as Rico has moved away, to kind of, maybe Patty's still looking at this ring, or maybe even kind of putting the papers. Did you leave, Rico, the papers with Patty?
Yeah, I did.
So maybe as you're kind of pulling them where they've been crumpled up against your chest, True comes over and kind of puts her arms from behind, kind of around your shoulders, and kind of puts her head on your shoulder. Pats, I'm worried that we're not going to be strong enough to help her. What are we going to do if we just can't love her enough?
She needs to forge her own path. We can't. We can ride beside her, but we can't drive her bike.
Yeah. Well, we can damn sure make sure that the road ahead's clear.
Yeah, and I think Patty sort of turns around, turns her half of her body around and takes your hand and is like, if there's a way to give her the best path, the truest course, and the most kick-ass bike, you've got it.
And Truth smiles and just sort of nuzzles her head up against you.
And I think you see Patty's expression looking a bit more relaxed than you saw her in the previous two sessions, and the edge has, even as she looks down her glasses at you, the edge has sort of come out of it a little bit. You can kind of see how she's changed a bit.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's so beautiful. And I just went to check if anyone had any injuries that could be alleviated by that. And I saw Patty Smith's. I've lost like that whole tone now. That's wonderful. And I think in that moment, as the camera sort of pans out on the group, we see two things. We see the group in this sort of dusty desertscape, taking up a very small amount of space. We see a large, almost impassable canyon that lays ahead of them, and beyond that, we see what looks like a small, like rainforest sprung up from the desert. And above it all, alongside the shining, like blaring sun that beats down on this, we see the daytime full moon. And yeah, I think that's where we'll step to a break for a little bit. Yeah, we are getting a lot of like environment manifesting interior emotions. So yeah, if this goes poorly, that moon is definitely getting eaten, like legit for real getting eaten. Okay, so it's 8:48, so it's let's call it 50 my time, so back at 55. Does that work for everyone? Wonderful, and that gets us an hourish to play through and wrap up. I'm very excited about this. I can't wait. Thank you for being the best.
I've got to make a test menu tomorrow for a Christmas party that this company's having that I'm catering, and I'm marinating at the moment a alligator tail.
Whoa. Like, have you cut it up?
Right now, it's a chunk about like that, like a roast.
Oh.
That's what the size of it is.
God, that is epic. Have you eaten alligator before?
Oh yeah, we have it on our menu, and I don't know. Have you had alligator before?
We can't get alligator here, but we've got crocodile, which I also have not had.
It like they say about most things, it tastes similar to chicken, honestly.
Yeah,
But
same about croc.
yeah, it's a white meat. It looks kind of like pork. It's got about that same texture. But with this marinade I'm doing with it, I'm gonna roast it off and then cut it really, really thin and sear it and do it over crostini with a horseradish cream cheese.
Oh my
It
god!
should be quite good. I'm hoping. I hope this marinade takes. It's
I would like a sample. That sounds amazing.
it's a pretty dense meat, so the trick's going to be if the marinade can penetrate. But I'm marinating for a little over 24 hours, so Lord knows it should.
Yeah. What are you marinating with?
I'm doing it's Worcestershire and Cajun seasoning and hot sauce and ginger.
Fuck. That will punch you in the face at the very least.
Mm-hmm. And then that's hopefully that, because I've got that horseradish cream cheese underneath. Hopefully that's gonna mellow it a little bit, but it'll be hot.
Oh yeah, lovely. Oh, speaking of food, hey Tyler, do you know what lamingtons are? Look at what V's got. It's a sponge cake covered in like a very simple chocolate icing and cream in the middle and coconut on the outside.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's Australian. It's one of our delicacies.
That looks phenomenal.
It's pretty good.
V was in peak form. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, I was just going to say, V, you said you'd like playing with me. I want to say I love playing with you. Your smile makes me so happy every time I see it.
You got that in your teeth. Oh, no, I'm kidding. That was a joke. So jealous of that tea in Lamington right now. You having some too, Haley?
Look, I don't think there's much Lamington left. Once we they were possessed in the following way. We walked into the supermarket like, all right, what do we need? And V was immediately like, I have cream Lamingtons. I don't know what else we need.
Yeah, 2 packets of cream Lamingtons.
Oh, that's very good. That's very V. Then Haley was like, I have 8 kilos of cheese. What do I do with the rest of the fridge?
You should see our fridge and you would see that come true.
Oh, I love it. It's my fave. It's my favorite thing. Okay, let's play some Dust Wardens. Boy, oh boy, where do we go to next? I think we see we sort of come back in on the group motorcycling down the highway. You're motorcycle witches. I want to see you motorcycle for a bit. Motorcycling down the highway, and that moon that was out, that big, beautiful full moon, tracks ever so slowly across the sun. And we see from this big, like, wide-angle shot the eclipse begin to wash over the desert landscape. And as you approach this gaping canyon that it's like a wound in the earth. It's not smooth and washed out like a canyon that has been made over years and years with erosion and water. It looks sharp and jagged, like it was made yesterday, like it was made by thrusting your hands into the earth and pulling it apart. It looks painful. It looks like, the earth wept to have that done to it. And as you come up on it, the darkness in the middle of the day, still with that strong desert heat, washes over you. And I think we hear the bat-like screeches of like these like desert bats awakening in the eclipse phase. Who do I want to see engage with a Tyler? You look like you're unmuting.
I was just wanting to kind of ask for context. Do we know what are we on doing something in particular? Is this just part of us traveling and we've come to this? Do we have kind of a goal we're doing?
I mean, so one of the things that I sort of had in that real zoomed out shot of the entire desert landscape is that we're coming up upon that bloodflower forest thing, and so I think that someone's probably leading you there, and whether it's like Shizy subconsciously doing it based off like the visions of her nightmares, maybe, or whether it's Patty, maybe, who knows it's there, or it's I saw a finger. I saw a monologue token finger.
I'm going to take that token and slam it down on the table. The moon, the large opalescent moon up in the sky, looks down upon our quartet of motorcycle witches. The camera pans down into the dust trail that's kicked up from these 4 bikes. It comes past True at the back, looking over her shoulder, going at a steady pace, looking up ahead, keeping an eye on everyone. Then you have Patty and Rico doing figure 8s around each other and like coming back around behind True, veering off to the side up an embankment, and then down. One of them's riding their bike over a fallen log and into a dry creek bed, and up the other side. And up ahead, the pace is being set slow but steady from a determined Shizy and her pretty pathetic postal bike putting along. So you see the bike itself is banged up. There's hints of red paint sticking to the side, and as the camera goes up towards her face, you can see her hands gripping so hard onto the handlebars and her eyes staring so intently ahead that it's like she can't even see. Like, she doesn't have goggles. There's dust everywhere. But she's so wide-eyed, not blinking. And you can hear over her shoulder a voice, a really cold voice. It sounds like it's coming from a deep, dark cave. Yes, keep going. Follow this line. You will get to where you need to be. Don't worry about them. Keep going. And then you hear, at first you think is that Shaizi's voice? But then you hear a competing voice that's, no, this is Shaizi's voice going, yeah, but where are you taking us? Will this save Patty? Is this what we're doing to save Patty? Time will reveal all.
Could I just add, as we get closer to whatever weird destination it is, like we can see that the rocks on the side of this chasm are like leaking some water, like dripping down into like this soggy pool at the bottom, like tears streaking down the face.
So good. So good. Who I'm sure it was said so. Who brings up the rear of this motorcade?
I think suggested it was true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Just quickly, Rico, how does it feel to travel at other people's pace and not your own? I mean, you've been doing it for a while, right? For some years at this point, but I wonder, like, have you slowed down as a person being with them?
I think physically, yes, but Enrico's mind there's like a million things that are constantly racing around in there. The problem is that whenever it's about Chai-Z, she gets a bit obsessive. So it's the same damn thought circling like a cyclone in her head, like a little weird twister. Chai-Z size twister in her mind. So it's very, very frustrating.
A cyclone? Thank you. I take those all as our cards. True up the back. Clearest and strongest. You hear this, like the screeching of the bats, and I think if you were to turn your head and see them, you would see that they're kind of racing with the edge of the darkness, staying out of the sun's light. And as the darkness sort of closes toward you, so too do these large mammals. Bats are mammals, which I think is cool. That follow in your stead. What do you do, True?
And I'm imagining them as those like enormous fox bats. I mean, the real monster-sized bats.
Yeah. These things probably like they probably like feed on like cows or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they probably carry away a 600-pound cow or something like that for fun.
So these are like the Wicked Witch's flying monkey size things.
Like them, yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm my first concern would be that they may attack us. So probably, there's, True will let out this just real high-pitched whistle that probably the whole group is used to hearing, which is supposed to be, kind of close ranks, something may be coming, as she throttles up a little to kind of move, trying to close that distance a little bit with where Shy's gotten ahead. And probably from the side holster on the side of Rebecca there. Isn't that her name? Isn't that my bike's name? Bessie. Bessie. There's a side holster, and you see True just kind of reach down and pull up and spin her shotgun up out of the thing, kind of set it to her shoulder just to have it ready.
It's really cool. I want to take this opportunity to show you a fact about these creatures. They feed on cows in herds. They'll carry try to carry an entire herd away if they can. They don't feed on lone things. And as you communicate to the others, as you whistle and as you kind of close in on them, as you move closer together, you can see them like become more agitated. You can see the ones that are the closest and the largest. You can probably see the like saliva start to drip from them.
I may have made a mistake. If I'm at all aware of that, I think then, if this is possible, I think as we close in and we've got the dust and I've moved into where this dust is, you could see True's like her eyes kind of narrow, and you could see her taking in her breath. And I'm going to attempt to shape the cloud of dust around us into one enormous looking creature.
Oh, that's
taking all of our dust to form one big unit thing.
I like this a lot. I like this so much. I wish there was a help move so that people could engage with it. And that is not an emotion I have a lot. Would you like to channel? Is that something that you're trying to do? Or maybe?
I think so.
It could also be like, I don't think it's apply force. Yeah, channel's probably best.
Yeah, I think I'm calling to that earth magic that I use so much.
Unless you're leaning into your bike's magic, and then maybe it could be get equipped. This is interesting, but I whatever you choose to do, I support.
I think it's going to be the channel. I think I'm pulling on the earth.
It's just channel's the hardest one for me from a GM making moves perspective. So like, you know, it's just super rude every time y'all do it. Draw with glamour, please.
Alrighty. And so I have, I think, a 2, but let me check to make sure. I do have a 2. All right. So I will be doing not cards, 2, or not tokens. There we go.
I'm also going to.
Oh.
I think I have a prerogative to do this as a GM. Oh, yeah, you did real good, so I'm not going to feel bad about doing this at all. Because you're doing this together, because you're taking the group's collective dust, I'm going to lean that in as kind of like an injury of like, because you're doing it as the group, you're going to be empowering the things you're against. So I'm going to discard a card as well at the same time.
Okay. I wish I had not used up 2 kings. I wish I'd have only pulled 1.
Oh, yeah, and then the third king that I pulled out. Oh, no, there's already. Oh, no, there's not. I was like, there's already 4 kings on the thing. Okay, so kings, face cards. What do you get on a face with your glamour? With your channel. You choose one. What would you like to choose?
Oh, always the best one. I think we're going to attract unwanted attention. Might help to get rid of one problem, but, you know, it's always fun to lead to another.
It is always fun. Tell me about this thing that you're summoning and what it is.
I think that, you know, as we do close in and close that distance with Shy, I think because I have Shy at the front and, you know, probably that's playing into my mind, I think the dust begins forming up to this enormous chimera-looking creature. So where we have Shy at the front is its massive head, and the tendrils of the dust are flowing back like the mane. And as the dust comes back in a wave behind us, we can see like the wings sort of things fluttering back.
That's really, really, really cool. And I think the unwanted attention you attract is the unwanted attention of the moon. And what happens is you create this large Shaizi like chimera, and where it reaches out a paw to like strike through the darkness at these beasts. And I'll give them an injury for this as well. But as it reaches through to strike at them, where it touches the darkness given by the moon, you see the hand turn into like one of those scale clawed serpent paws. And I'm going to give it an injury for that. But my question then is, who can we turn this spotlight to? Does someone have like a cool thing they're thinking of for their character here? Otherwise, I'm probably going to turn to someone to balance it out. But if someone's got a thing.
Why? I didn't get 6.
Okay, I'm really bad at GMing games and GMing PBTA apparently. Okay, so I get to make a move rather. Who is in the center of this group? Who is the most central of the herd? Yeah, I thought the same
that'd
thing.
be me.
Beautiful. The bats let out this like this deafening screech, and it sounds like echolocation clicking. It's like that, but if it were that clicking but nails down the chalkboard kind of thing, and it runs into your spine. And I think your hand, so right in the middle of this group, your hand that you keep so like heavy on the throttle, being the quick person that you are, you feel it go heavy, and you lose the strength in that hand, and it slips from the handlebars, and your right leg that you keep like holding in against the body of the bike goes heavy and starts to slide down. Your foot slides off the pedal and hits the dirt and kicks up dust and sort of becomes difficult to control. What do you do?
It only takes like a split second for me to like unbalance myself. And I think it's like, because Rico goes pretty fast on her bike and it's so responsive that it's, as soon as that happens, she knows she's going to fall. And the best thing she can do is to stabilize herself and make sure she falls properly so that she doesn't just break her neck. So I'm going to try to use my body to traverse an environment, apply force. I'm going to draw with guts. And what this looks like is like as soon as her hand slips off it, the bike just like spins. It's like a racer bike. It's a millimeter this way and the whole thing just tips. Hits like the rock slides out, and you just see Rico flying out, and she's tucking and rolling real hard. My guts is not that good, I don't think.
Queen of arcing characters.
1. Seven.
7 on a 7 to 10, you choose 1. A 6 to 10, you choose 1. Do you damage something, get hurt, attract one attention, move into a
Yeah, I think I move into a risky position because that's fun.
That is perfect. Patty, Rico goes down in front of your bike, right in your path. What do you do?
I go down as well. Straight, Rico's bike goes down, straight down, right behind, like Patty's immediately behind it, and the bike like crisscrosses and like goes down as well, and then sort of spins around. And like Patty's is, as she gets thrown off her own bike, I think Rico and Patty spin around so they're closest to each other's bikes. And Patty is going to try and grab like Rico's bike, get on it, and sort of like push Rico back up towards her bike.
Oh, we're doing a bike swap.
Mm-hmm.
This is some Fast and the Furious shit, and I'm in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is Get a Grip? Do you think we're drawing with gear here?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds fine with me.
Okay, let's do that. Do you have a lot for gear? You
I
not.
do.
You
have one.
You have a 1 for gear. That's important. That's a good number to have.
Because I'm good at games. So, 5. Excellent. This was not to be.
On a 5, bad things happen.
Can I request that Rico's bike rejects me? It doesn't have to be the entirety of what goes wrong. I just really want to see what that looks like.
Yes.
V. Can you narrate that, please?
I think that it just burns you. Like it's really cold to the touch, and it's like a chemical burn, maybe like when you touch like a battery acid. Like it's not good for anyone else.
That's really interesting. Patty, what happened? Oh boy, what happens when just kind of in contrast to that? What happens when Rico touches your bike?
It's like just a bike. Like it's not Patty's bike. It probably fits Rico better than Patty.
Wow, that's so good. That's so good. I'm so glad we asked that. Oh, Tyler, I love you. That is so awesome. Okay. I want to know from Shizy. I've kind of been building up this. As you turn around and see the dust version of yourself, this like dust construct of yourself. Hello. Hi, Lou. I love you. You see the dust construct of yourself, and as you see that bit of it that touches the darkness turn into, and I think like we probably see more of it now, right? Like as it leans into snap at the bats with its maw, that like beautiful golden mane turns hard and scaly, and the protruding lion snout becomes like thin and dragon-like. What do you do when you see that version of yourself? Did it again. Went to unmute, turned off your camera. Love it. Or maybe she's gone.
Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, just way too excited about this dust chimera. So as Shizy's having this internal conversation, well, is it internal? Is there something? What's going on? We don't know. She like senses this giant thing come up and around her, and she looks up, and if she was on a bike anywhere near Rico's or Patty's, it'd probably like fall over from the bit because it's so slow and stable. Like it just keeps putting, and she's able to like have a really good look at it. Jaw completely drops, and like you can see like a smile in her eyes as she sees this giant manifestation of what she feels like she is internally. She's like, oh my god, that's me. Oh my god, what Truth's probably doing this. Oh wow, that's so beautiful. And then she sees the moon infect some of the dust chimera, and she sees it morph into this creature. It's not the creature of her nightmares. It seems to be personified of the thing that she hears in her head. And you can't tell if she's scared or excited from this revelation.
Oh no. Can I? Oh, sorry, Sid. You're
No,
gonna say something.
no, V. Nothing I could ever say would be better than what you're about to say. Please.
I was gonna say, as Rico's kind of like lying there in the dust and like is like facing towards Shizy and like has this like pang in her heart as she feels like we're losing her, we're losing Shy. I think Rico shouts at Patty like, hit the like the throttle and the like where the, I guess the, what is it, the bell, the beeper thing, because I know that that's got Shizy's actual roar in it. I know it's gonna hurt you, the bike's gonna fight back, but I'm like, hit that button.
Oh man, it might hurt real bad though, Patty, what do you do?
I don't think Patty thinks too hard about it. She's lying on the ground. I think the searing pain from touching the bike is blue. It's a blue. We'd expect that red sort of singe of skin. It's blue.
Can I add? It's the same blue as a clear blue sky. Because this is the Sky King's bike, right?
I think she takes her heel and digs it straight into the horn, I guess. Whatever it's called. I know so much about motorbikes. This is so suitable for this game.
This is, at our third episode, we reveal none of us have ever ridden a motorbike in our lives. No, I've broken bones on motorbikes. Okay, so I think I don't know if I want to do a get equipped move for you again. I kind of feel I guess it's fictionally different. I always just feel weird when we're rolling the same move twice in a row.
Could do a face your fear.
We could do a face your fear. That's actually really good. That's very good.
That seems appropriate.
Except it's the worst move written in Apocalypse World history because it's an act under fire. But that's okay. That's okay.
We can relish the variety.
Yeah, we can. And then while you're drawing with that, I want to add that Shazi, you notice as you look at this beast, when you smile, it smiles. When you turn your head to catch it in a different bit of light, it turns its head in the same way. It seems to move with some of your intentional and unintentional movements. And while you ponder that, Haley, what do we get?
A 2. Haha. Now all the narrative bullshit work is on you.
Thank you. Thank you, you wonderful friend, you amazing person that I am glad I spent time with. When you push the oh man, I'm gonna ask a question and I know exactly what's gonna happen and I'm so excited about it. When you push the horn, instead of that thick lion's roar, instead comes out. Elle, can you describe to us what the serpent's cry is like? I knew exactly what was going to happen. I'm so glad. I'm just so happy.
I think it's so deafening and piercing and awful that Patty covers her ears but it doesn't help because it's inside her head. The sound is coming from inside her head because she's connected to the bike. And then she rolls over and is consumed by the sound and she's out.
Yeah, I love that. Do you want to give yourself an injury, maybe one each for the bike and for the roar? I think that would be wonderful. And oh boy, okay. So Patty's going to be out. Shazzy's up. True's up. Rico, do you continue on Patty's bike? Do you keep riding away from this following darkness?
Like a lion, at least.
Well, where is everyone positioned? Is it because True's probably behind me? Do I catch sight of True? Or is True in front of me now?
Yeah, I admit I could use a little, maybe quick recap of where we are. I
think the only people I had really locked into my head is that we've got yes. Oh man, I almost want to bank that one because I feel like that should be a quite literal cliffhanger. I kind of so here's the thing. We have Shizy at the front and we have big magnificent Shizy Dust at the back. We have Paddy has just hit the dirt and is out in the middle of this like moving fight. Paddy is now slipping toward the back and soon will be like out the back. And then the two of you are wherever the fuck you want to be, as far as I'm concerned. Narratively interesting places.
Okay. So for True, then, if I've seen Patty go down, there's nothing in the world that will stop me from getting over there to Patty. So, go with that concept, whatever you wish to do, V.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand the bike where it is, and then I'm going to call my own bike to me. And I want to try to ride it into the cloud of darkness, essentially. Like, I think I'm going to try and do... So I have my little beeper. Could have a separate roll for my beeper to get the bike to me. Like, I like frown at this bike, and then I call my own bike, where it speeds out, and getting on it. Yeah, Datomatic. I'm gonna drive it, and I'm gonna unleash a lightning storm into the darkness behind us to at least slow it down.
Fuck yeah, you are. Yeah, no roll needed for your beeper. That's one of your gear things that you have on your thing, I think. So, tell me about this lightning storm. Please show me how you summon lightning.
Yeah. So I think I kick it up. So I feel like this is where we can reveal my new back tattoo. I'm gonna take the jacket that I'm wearing off, and I'm wearing one of those like shirts with like the backs open, and I think it's like this it's like two wings with like lightning through it across my shoulder blades. It's like the worst, most douchey tattoo. No, it's great. And I think it glows and then extends out, and so you get this like as it comes around. Yeah.
You've been fairly isolated. There have only been a few people in your life that you've kind of spent time with that we've seen at least. I'm interested. Is the person who did the tattoo important to you?
Of course they are.
Who was it?
Who was it? It was the person that I was with after Shizy.
Oh, did they tattoo every ex's name on your back? Yeah. Wow, dope. That's really cool. I do want to hear about that at some point. Would you like to... What do you think you're doing? Do you think you're smiting at this point? Do you think you're... Are you trying to just add some injuries? Are you trying to...
Huh. I feel like I'm adding some injury. So.
Okay, cool. So this is probably either a channel or an apply force, as you wish. Probably apply force, but it can be talked into channel.
No, I want to draw with guns.
Face your fear. Why not?
I'm going to spend. You can spend the ace to get an automatic success. Is that right?
What ace do you have again?
I have a clubs.
So your clubs ace lets you add cards of different suits to determine. I don't know about spending aces to get automatic successes.
Okay, maybe I made that up.
Anyone?
So do you?
I will look at that while you're talking.
Okay, I can't remember if like you can lose an ace after you have it, or you do something with them.
Yeah, you can get rid of it to like a consequence, basically, to like say no to harm.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, I'll roll with one. I mean, I'll draw one card. A 7. That is good.
A 7 is good. So if you wanted with this one, this is where you could be like, I'll take the one where I get injured and then spend the ace to get rid of the injury or whatever, if you wish.
Oh, yes. That's what I want to do, because like I think it's like the lightning consumes me, and like I run into the darkness, and as the light sort of like leaves me, it's just me and the shadow, we part, and it's like me trying to come to grips with like losing the feeling of losing Shizy all over again. And then I'm going to specimen my ace to not be emotionally scarred by that, because I've totally gotten over her. That's why I have this tattoo.
That's amazing. So that ace of clubs gets put back in the deck. I will move it over to discard for now. That's wonderful. So as you light up the sky, what does this do to the bats, the darkness, and to Shizy's giant dust form?
I think that like the bats like explode. That's the part that I deal with.
That's the part that I deal with.
Yep.
I deal with it by it exploding.
Mm.
All right. I love it. I love it. Because we didn't go for a smite, I'm going to give them some injuries. Do you mind if we turn the explode down a little bit to keep that in?
Yeah.
Right.
Go for it.
All right. So I think that like, oh wait, or can I do? Okay.
The essence does the collection thing.
Yes. Okay. This is great. This is my jam now. So the bats explode, as you say. They're like this physical manifestation of the bats just like tears apart, and like it's emerging from the skin suit come like these dark forms of the bats that like in the darkness of the eclipse, they are black against blackness, and you can see only their eyes, and their eyes look like tiny like blood red flowers looking out at you. And their sound is instead of being that high-pitched scraping, it's like a deep, almost a whale moaning. But like, oh man, if whale moaning could sound pained and almost mournful, and they like call out, not in unison, they call out like independently, as if they're not even listening to each other. Shizy, what do you do?
Shizy is quite scared now. She turns around after like staring at this dust creature and this cloud of bats, and then this electrical storm, and then bat explosion, and then these, I don't even know what you would call those things that came from the bats. They're not good. And she really senses that, and that fear is hitting her really hard, and she stops her bike and like spins around, and she's looking at her coven on the ground and besieged, and she realizes that she was so like focused on going to where she thought they needed to go, and upon realizing that she still has this physical link with this dust chimera that True conjured, she uses any energy that she has, and she looks at Patty, and she's like realizing that she's just left her and to fight in this battle, and she's hasn't got her back, and she's scared, and she's reaching up her arm and watching her dust paw come down and swipe at these magic bats. Scorpy bats.
Do you want to smite some stuff, or do you want to injure some stuff?
Smiting sounds pretty fun.
I feel like we're emotionally at the smiting phase of this.
I will smite your Scorpy bats.
Smite away. You draw 2 cards.
Cards.
Those cards.
Two. Submit. And wait. Ooh, 8 and 9.
8 and 9. On a 6 to 10, you choose one. The enemy is killed, captured, or contained. The defeat does not cause collateral damage, and the defeat is discreet. I really want to take discreet off the table because nothing about this is discreet. Nothing about anything we've done is discreet.
I don't think that we can. There's definitely collateral damage, like looking around.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we can capture them. I'm just gonna say we fucking killed them.
Great idea. Great idea.
Why not go for the easy win? They're all dead.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm just looking at time. There are 2 things I really want to get through before we resolve this. It's great. So, what does it feel like as your claw comes down on them? And I think that when you hit them, like they just like vanish, right? Like this, the moaning stops immediately, and they just disappear from whatever existence they have. What is that like? What does that look like and feel like for you as a giant dust chimera and also as a person riding a bike?
It is quite conflicting. So she finally feels like validated that some form that she's always felt like she is doing what it should do. And it's like, you know, how they talk about some things as being in flow. Like she feels like she's in flow, but then at the same time, her actual physical body is separate from that. And she is just this pathetic little human on a bike that doesn't even go very fast. And she watches as these Scorpy bats dissipate, and she's stopped, and she jumps off her bike, throws it to the ground. Doesn't matter, it's speed up enough as it is. And she goes over to True, and she's like, True, what did you do?
I think the cut to True, right, is that True has gone to Patty. Is that right? And I think the shot we have, Tyler, and I'd love you to paint all over this as well. But I think right as you get to Patty's form, that is when like that eclipse like overtakes you, and as you reach her, you are in darkness.
Okay. Well, I've got a big old badass moment I want to try and do. So I'm hauling it towards Patty, and she's laying there on the ground, and I think you see True kind of spring up to where she's got her feet on the seat of Bessie and leap forward over the front of the handlebars. It's flying down the road to, land really solid right beside Patty. And as the bike comes, the bike's coming with its speed behind her, she catches where the wheel is. She's going to lift the bike up so it does a kind of over the top as she catches Patty up in the other arm and pulls herself up to be back on the seat as it's flipped over, carrying her off at speed. Is the attempt there?
I would be a monster to stop that in any way. I think that's fantastic. I think the actual conflict here is like Patty's recovery, like what state Patty's going to be in the recovery. So I love that. I think that's do you have a song in mind that like plays as this happens?
Well, it's got to go with what we've got going on. So it's probably, Total Eclipse of the Heart
Oh God, yes. I thought you were going to go for Bat Out of Hell. Yes, so much.
I love some meatloaf. Don't doubt. I love meatloaf.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Okay. So, I think I want to. Oh God, I want to see this trash tattoo so bad. I think I want to see what this recovery looks like. So, True. What do you do to arouse Patty?
And you're pretty badly hurt, aren't you, Patty?
Yeah, she's totally out.
As you know, as the bike is landed and I've kind of just like cradling her on the seat in front of me, and you can see this like fear in True's eyes, and it has nothing to do with this eclipse, demon bats, all of that could go to hell. All that matters is that Patty is hurt, and you see her sort of pull in her breath as she leans down and she kisses her and expels that breath and energy back into her.
What do you fear?
Save me, dude. I'm dead.
I fear I don't have enough to save her. Or if I do, it'll mean that I'll leave her alone. I won't be there anymore.
Oh, wonderful. When you act despite fear or danger, draw with grit.
All right. With grit. That might be one of my good ones. It's certainly not a bad one. All right. So 2, not tokens. Come on.
Haley, do you as a player have feelings about this that you want to like assert at this point?
Yeah, but I want to see how this goes first.
Okay.
Double 9s.
Double 9s and a 6 to 10. You falter. You will be offered a hard choice.
Oh, I'm sorry. That'll take me up to 11.
Oh wait. Oh, it does things.
Oh no. I'm sorry. It's not an add to. It's just how many cards I draw. Sorry, I'm mixing up games. Silly Tyler.
Tyler, we've been playing the same goddamn rules for 3 weeks. Can you switch on?
I know it's flamey.
Well, maybe that will be your hard bargain. Haley, we got 9, which means that True falters. What rights would you like to assert as a player here?
Let me see. I think you can. I'm gonna give you. Okay, tell me if I'm like way off here, but here are 2 possible choices. I think you can revive Patty, but her subconscious is mixed up with Shizy because of the echoing in her head from the reptilian thing. Or you can revive Patty, but her subconscious is mixed up with Rico because of the experience with the bike.
Ooh.
I think
yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think it's cool if True kind of knows this and makes that choice. That's the other part of it. True has to pick.
Savage.
I think it's going to be Shy. I think that as she's feeling this, and it scares True. But somewhere in her, she recognizes this could be that connection that helps us save Shy.
Oh, I love it. So I want to be clear. You're leaving both Shy's warm huntress pack nature and also Shy's cold, distant nature, kind of bits of both. Is that what I'm reading here?
Is that what you're envisioning, Haley?
Well, it's either going to be just the bad stuff or both of them. So
let's at least have some of the good in there.
I'd love that. I think that really works with me with like this is the connection that we can is Elle, considering that's such a big part of like that involves your character so heavily. What are your feelings on that? Are you in? You O-carding this?
Yeah, bring it on. Yeah, I want to
yeah.
see what you guys do.
Dope. Haley, show us when you when you open your eyes and you see True. What is it about you that tells us, the audience, that True has made this choice and that you have bits of other people in you?
I think like Patty, like she looks up and the first thing she sees is like True's like warm and familiar face looking down like at her, and like she's weak, so she kind of props herself up and like goes to like adjust her glasses when she realizes that she doesn't need them. Like she could see True's face without them. And I think that's like when she realizes. And I think you see that physically reflected as well. I like that. These eyes, they're changing, like, or they're a mix, I think. Like they're rather than one of each, I think they are like they change according to what part of the subconscious is sort of like in control of Patty at that time. So, but I think right now they're like a blended sort of like milkshake of like Patty's blue washed out eyes with Shizy's dark brown eyes, and then these like silver glistening eyes in there as well, like in like droplet patterns.
Oh my god, that's so tasty. That's so good. That's so good. Oh no, I do want to ask the question about like what if Patty gets left in Rico's bike, but I almost love that shot so much that like I want us to finish on that. And maybe if we think about the Rico's bike stuff for the next one, and maybe that can be like a cool. That'll be our credits thing for next time. Is like, what of you has part of someone else in it, and like, how do we see it? Yeah, I think that'd be super cool. All right, legit, dope. Wonderful coven fusing. Goodness me. In the dark of the eclipse, the shifting eyes of someone holding many thoughts inside her. This is so beautiful. I'm having such a moment. I'm definitely going to need a minute or two before we come back and debrief on this thing. Does everyone agree?
Can I put in a quick flashback?
Sure. I think we got time. What do you got? What do you got for me?
I think we've had this traumatic sort of whole huge thing that we see here, and we've got True looking down, and the bikes are tumbled over. And we have Shy, having turned back and this look of fear, and that terrible bike she's on. And as we're about to hit credits, and it kind of pans over towards Shy, and we pull back, and it's a much more domestic. It's us camped, and True and Rico are there at the back of Bessie, and you can see where Rico, they're talking, and True's like, "Well, you found about everything." And on the back of the bike, we can see there's a frame, and we've got the wheels, and we've got almost an entire bike ready to give to Shy. And True goes, "Well, You think this thing will work? And she flips up that box, that locker that we'd gotten from Spider all that time ago.
Like
And
6.5 years ago.
And inside of it is this gleaming experimental power source. Rico,
Oh,
you
that's so good.
think you could put it on?
I know I can put it on. It's going to be 3 times better. 3,000 times better.
Oh my god, that's my favorite. Okay, I have to actually make notes for next time, which is something that I don't normally do in games. Oh my goodness. Does anyone have anything else they want to hit in this sesh before we take a break and come on back and debrief on some things and then talk about our final session ideas and stuff? Cool. Cool. I'll be back in a minute-ish. 9:55, 56. Enough time for V to get another Lamington. We'll sort it out.
They're all gone already.
Oh no. And so am I. Hey.
Hello.
What a wonderful session.
Yes, indeed. I hope that didn't feel too tacked on. It was something I had thought about last time, and it may have been a little out of the emotional flow, but I wanted to have time enough for it to develop for the last session.
I don't think it's out of flow, like considering how much you guys have been like conspiring to like help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. I'm in agreement. And I felt like as a player, I had the tools to tonally manage that if we needed to. We had rewinds and X cards and all that sort of stuff. I felt like that was, I never at all felt like.
I love playing in a game with such a supportive GM.
I love showing up to games. Boy, I wish I could do that more often.
On time, even.
I'm like, I'm 0 for 2 the last 2 days. It's the fucking worst. Although at least I managed to tell Haley like with 48 hours notice or something like that, rather than 20 minutes notice. Hey, thanks for playing a game with me, y'all. With a reminder that we're still on broadcast for everyone. Does anyone have any safety stuff they would like to bring up and approach at this time? Hey.
Oh, you go first, Tyler.
I was just going to say, I hope I wasn't pushing line by like kissing you without permission, Haley. That's always one of those things. I personally do very little physical stuff in game. It's a thing that I always have trouble with. But it felt right. But maybe I should have checked in with you on that. I apologize there.
No, it was beautiful and wonderful. And like felt like a natural continuation of what we saw in the last 3 sessions. So it was great. Thank you.
But thank you for checking in on that, Tyler. I think that's I think that checking in even when everything's okay is just as important as when things don't. Elle, you had a
just in terms of the conversation on depression, I think it actually hit me while we were playing. I was like, oh shit, I'm tapping into some stuff that's pretty real for me, and I hope that we're not taking it too far for anyone, and it's kind of right on the edge of like it being enjoyable for me. It's kind of, I think it might even be like a useful thing to do. But how is anyone?
I would appreciate if we pulled back slightly on that. Like I don't mind it, but not to dwell on it too much.
Yeah,
would be my preference.
yeah, cool.
Yeah. But thanks for bringing that concern up.
Yeah, I think there's a very thick layer of metaphor, and I think that adds a bit of a barrier, like a safety barrier in that as well. But we also have all the tools. On that point, I did a bad by not bringing up safety tools at the start. It's because I basically, Haley's my hero, and if she does it, then I do it. So when Haley forgot to do that the other day, I was like, oh, okay, that's me now. That's what I do. No, it's not even worth joking about. I should have, and I didn't, and I will endeavor to improve, and that's something I'll work on. But it's cool. Yeah, cool. I really do like. I ache for a happy ending with Shazi a lot. Like I ache for that, like welcoming back to the fold. I understand that play to find out what happens and all that sort of stuff, but I will feel personally just distraught if that doesn't happen, and I will do everything I can to make it happen. Okay, so let's do our standard debrief tools if everyone's happy with it. We got some stars, we got some wishes. Given that next session is our final one on the cards for this one, I'm down for like wishes being maybe a question you want answered, or like a particular, as usual, like a particular scene that you want to see or something like that. But I guess things that you really want to see concluded in one way or another. So I'm not going to start, because then I will take someone's star and then they'll give out 3 and it won't be fair, and it's all that sort of thing. So I'm going to go reverse order to what I did before, which means we're starting with Haley, and then it'll be Ellen and Tyler and V. So Haley, would you like to start us off with your stars and your wishes, please?
Hardest session to only star one thing.
Break the rules.
No, I never break rules. I'm lawful neutral, damn it. No, I will stick with my 1-star rule, but it's killing me. And I will star Ellen for the beautiful introspection and description of Shazi's internal state, which was like what all the fighting was about, right? So it was super, super awesome, and the contrast between the external and the internal was amazing. Cough, Sid, and everyone else who set that up. Cough. I didn't cheat. My wish. I'm so happy with where we're going. My wish is to follow the trajectory, the really strong trajectory that we set up this session, and finish that arc. That's really it.
Cool. That's really both really strong and clear and very actionable, which I'm grateful for. So thank you so much for that. Ellen, would you like to give people stars? And you're not allowed to star yourself, even though you should be able to.
I star myself for that amazing flying serpent call I did. Yeah. No, for realsies, thanks, Haley. That was real nice, the things you said. I actually want to star you, Sid. Your environment and tone descriptions is just so poetic and yes, super inspirational, and yeah, gave built the world really lovely. And yeah, similar to Haley, my wish is to stay on the same trajectory. And yeah, I want to see what this dream's about, and like I want to know if we save you from impending doom, or is it doom, or what's going to happen?
So cool. Thank you so much for that kind star. I feel like you're all throwing me so much good stuff that then I just have to be like, you know how you have those feelings? Well, those feelings are a tree now, and that's enough. Like environmental design, that works. Tyler, do you have stars and or wishes?
Well, I'm chaotic good, so I'm going to echo that. Ellen, fucking amazing tonight. Sid, beautiful turns of phrases. You are so amazing. Everything you do is so amazing. But I want to especially star Haley. It is a real pleasure, always, how generous you are when you play. It is just phenomenal, and it makes me feel so good playing with you, and that's, yeah, I can't thank you enough for that. For wishes, I've been toying with whether or not True dying is the proper end to her arc, but part of me feels that that would be so dark an ending that maybe it would be better. I almost wish someone would rescue True. There's a lot of True does rescues. I think that seeing that rescue of True might fulfill that kind of thing. If the cards fall how they may, maybe have that be that resolution on the arc. But I kind of wish for seeing that rescue. I think that would be touching and right.
Yeah, I super agree. With it, like, I don't want to set up like that feeling of uncanniness where we know what's going to happen before we get there, but I am so much more invested in the rescue, like, does True get rescued stake than I am in the does True live stake. I think that, yeah, I think that's where like my heart is tonally, but I will think on it for the week, and I encourage you to do the same. And if you do want to drive towards a heroic self-sacrifice, like, I won't stop you. Or maybe I will. I'll think on it for a week about whether it's worth X-cutting on that. V, do you wish for anything? And if so, do you also star for anything?
I think I'm going to start Tyler's characterization of True over, I mean, this session, but over the campaign, the previous session so far. I think it's been really, really strong character and really relatable, I think. And it's just, I'm really enjoying it. And for that reason, if you won't do it, Sid, I'll definitely X-cut on the next session. As for wishes, I think I'm looking forward to seeing the bits of all of us sort of floating around. And for me, that's the question of like, what becomes of our coven? That's the question I want answered. Does it mean to be a coven? I think be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool and really interesting, right? For me, stars. I want to star you all. I can't. Okay, part of me, if I could give out multiple stars, part of me would want to give one for like letting me be so heavy-handed as a GM in that first scene, which is not really my like how I like to do things. But I thought it was quite valuable, and I liked that. I think what I'm going to do, I think the star I'm going to give is to man, this is so hard. I think the star I'm going to give is to Ellen for the same sort of thing I was starring V for last time, which is you came in and you were like, you know what I'm going to do? Like, I'm going to generate conflict by arcing this character. Like, I'm going to give this character growth. I'm going to move towards Heartless. And then it was this invitation. It was this invitation of like, now do the things that your characters do to rescue me, which I think is such a cool version of lift up play, right? Where you're like, I'm a fighter and I'm going to charge the dragon so that when it attacks me, the wizard has to save me. Like, I think it's the same thing, right? Like you put yourself in this emotional danger space so that other people had to rescue you, which is really cool. As a character, that is not a cool thing to do as a player in an RPG. And so I really appreciate that. I think that's really cool play. My wish is I want to see the B stories and the C stories and the A stories collide. I want to see the only thing that can get rid of the nightmares and rescue Shai-Z is the blood flower. I want to see the only thing that I want to see all of your vows be like the one thing. I want a scene where we have to decide, what do we do with the blood flower? Can we bring Shai-Z back? Can we rescue True? And at the same time, like, does Rico fall in love with Shai-Z again? Like, I want to see all these questions are out there floating around there be answered in like a single scene. And I know that's too much, but it's what my little Act 3 filmic heart wants so badly. But yeah, we can do it. We can do it. There's so much cool stuff in there. Oh my god! I just noticed that Shai-Z changed one of her vows. That's gonna be so good. I want that one answered so badly. For anyone watching, it's now True. I promise I don't need your help, which is some shit. I love it. That's what I want. You know what else I want? I want the game to start on time next week. So if whoever was late, I can't remember who it is. I don't think anyone can remember. But if whoever was late can just try to be on time next week, that would be really helpful. I think it's disrespectful to me personally that I put this time aside in my day. That's how I feel. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to say before I stop this broadcast? And then we all gush a little bit. We're so unprofessional as soon as it all finishes. It's great. I want to say quickly, if you are watching this, because this is kind of going out to people like Nora, and I don't know how widely Nora will disseminate it as part of like that thing. It'll be on YouTube and regular and stuff like that. If you're interested in these people who are playing with me, you absolutely need to engage with them. Because they're so good. So I'd like to just get around from people, and I'll go this way across my screen this time. If people like you and want to engage with you and want to see more of like what you do and who you are, where can they find you on the internet, Ellen?
You can follow me on Instagram, where I post pictures of my creatures and animals. ELLU as don't worry about it. Find me on the Gauntlet Slack.
Dope. ELLU, don't worry about it. It's a hard one. Haley, as someone with some online presence, show me how it's done.
So first I laugh maniacally. Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Storybrewers, or that's really the best place. And on the Gauntlet's like, yay, like everyone here.
Don't you have a website dedicated to the games that you make that people can then buy and patronize and things like that? No, you know what? You've had your chance. V gets to talk about that. Tyler, where do people find and interact with you if they love you as I do?
Of course, you could find me with the Gauntlet, and there, with the Gauntlet blog, you can see games I run. But you can also find on my YouTube channel, Tyler Lominac, I try to be pretty consistent in keeping my games up on that. So anybody who wants to see me run things, there's quite a few games there.
Yeah, you. I think you're doing your Monster of the Week thing at the moment, aren't you?
No, right now I'm doing Changeling the Lost PBTA hack by any award-winning Lowell Francis.
Oh god, any award-winning Lowell Francis, I love it. He's amazing. V, where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Rocketeer_V. And as it has fallen upon me, Haley and I are Story Brewers Roleplaying at storybrewersroleplaying.com. And you can check out our games there.
If you like the kind of game that this is turning into, which is like really interpersonal metaphor-laden stuff, you'll love Story Brewers games, especially like mundane supernatural life and stuff.
That's a good one.
It's a very good one. It's like this
Yeah,
close to hitting my top list. Sorry.
We've got a bunch of free games, so yes, check it out.
True.
It's there on the internet.
They're the best. You can find me at ELLEUCALPYPTUS, which is L Eucalyptus. It's my Instagram where I do monsters. My name remains Sydney. I am available at Action Economy on Twitter and on this YouTube channel in which you're watching this, where I do a little bit of game design stuff. And most importantly, I interview people that are smarter than me about things that they're smarter than me about. Until the next time we get to play this wonderful game, and until, at least for this arc, the last time we get to play this wonderful game, I would like to say goodbye to you all and remind you that true power comes from those that you love and the people that you spend time with. Thank you.